let's start with the session. So today we will talk about the next, that is the calloc, the next part of the dynamic memory allocation. Okay, so here we have seen this malloc function. Fine, this is the syntax. Have a look at the syntax. We'll come to calloc now. This is also again a type of memory allocation, dynamic memory allocation. calloc or calloc stands for allocating continuous blocks or contiguous blocks of memory. So when we made use of malloc, we allocated the blocks, but they were a singular block, okay? But when I say calloc, we will be able to allocate it in terms of continuous blocks. Just like, see, when I say array, you know that array is a group. It is basically a group wherein all the elements will be stored continuously, one after another. Similarly, for the calloc function, when we make use of the calloc function, you will have continuous blocks of memory allocated, one behind another, just the way for an array. So calloc or calloc is used to allocate continuous blocks of memory. Here we'll have a look at the syntax now. The first part is the same, a pointer variable. The cast type, which talks about the data type. Calloc, the keyword for the function. The only difference here is you have n, where n talks about the size. Okay, size in the sense, how many blocks do you want to allocate? That is what you will tell. Like, for example, if I will say 5, comma, and the element size again will be size of, I'm going to write integer. So what I'm telling to the calloc function is, give me 5 continuous blocks. Each of these 5 blocks should be of the same size, and the size should be integer, should be size of integer. So this the variable n, is going to ask how many blocks do you want to allocate, how many blocks continuously do you want to allocate. So this you can specify how many blocks you want to take. So if I write 5, it means the value of n is 5 and I need 5 blocks of continuous memory. Each should be of the same size. Each should be of the same size, meaning each, if they are integer, each should have 2 bytes. So this is the syntax. Let us try to understand this with an example now. Okay, let me have again a pointer variable since we need it for dynamic memory allocation here. Let me take the variable again. We need to accept here from the user's side. So let me write it. Let me write the variable n. Let me now write the statement for dynamic memory allocation. That is going to be P is equal to, we are accepting integer type of elements. So int asterisk the function name calloc. Okay. Now in the bracket, I need, since I am talking about accepting it from the user, I will write n itself. We will accept it from the user here, n, comma, then I have to write size of int. Okay, so this is the statement. If you want, you can also directly give the size. You can just say 5 or any size that you want. Now, for example, assume that, we'll say that the user has entered 5 only. Let us go to the Excel sheet now. Is the Excel sheet visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we have a pointer variable p that is initialized to hold the address, right? So we'll start from here. Let's say from the starting address it's holding. So I'll write the address here 2000. Okay. Now I have specified the size there I have specified the value of n to be equal to 5. So this will work just like the way we did it for arrays. So here 2 blocks each, fine, but the size is 5. So till where it is going to go? From the address 2000. Let me start writing it here. The address, first initial address is P. So P plus 0. We'll go on incrementing it. We need 5 blocks. So this is going to be P plus 1. Again, this is P plus 2. This is going to be P plus 3. And this is P plus 4. So you can see here, this is your first block. This is the second block. Let us merge it. First block of memory allocated. Second block. Your third block of memory. Fourth one. And this is the fifth one. Now what this pointer variable P does is, it will just store the initial address. The initial address of this entire block. Since we have made use of calloc, you can see continuous memory blocks will be allocated and each block will be of the same size. So this is just like the array, where your pointer variable, when it was initialized to array, it was capable of holding only the first address or the initial address or the base address. So here also it will just hold the initial address. So if I with these statements that I have written here, P plus 0 will indicate just the initial address because P's value is 2000. When I increment it to P plus 1, the value, the base address is 2000, the value of P plus 1. What will 1 be? This is equivalent to what? 1 indicates here 1 into the size, that is integer, 1 into 2 bytes. So 2000, value of P is 2000 plus 2. The counter will be moved to 2002. Similarly, all these addresses, you can see that they will be incremented with the respective integer or the respective byte values. Integer if it is 2 bytes, if it is character 1 byte. So only the first statement here that is important is this particular thing. The pointer variable P is initialized to the memory address, but this time the memory address is 5 continuous blocks and each are of type integer. Each block is of size 2 bytes. Is this statement understood? Shall I repeat it? Students, did you follow? Am I audible or no?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you follow the class?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Only the boys are intelligent, I guess. Only they are following. How about the girls? Rutuja? She is the LR of the class, right? Rutuja Patil?
Ma'am, I think she has disconnected.
Okay. How about Achala? Are you there in the meeting? Achal, not Achala. Achal. Both the Achals. Akanksha. The girls are not responding. I believe they are just connected and they are dozed off. They are zoned out. Fine. Did you follow how it is allocated here in the memory block? Do you need a repetition here?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
Let us go back to the program here now. What we will do is, I will not specify again the size here manually. We'll take it from the user itself. Let it be 5 blocks or 10 blocks or even 2 blocks. So we need to first accept it before we start allocating the memory. No, we need to accept it. So let me have the statement to accept from the user. I will ask the user to enter the number of bytes or the number of blocks that he wants. Next thing is to accept it. So what is going to be the scanf statement now here? What will be the value? How do I write the scanf? Do I directly write P?
We need N there.
Correct.
Ampersand N.
Ampersand N. Correct. I was waiting for ampersand. Should I write ampersand or not? So it's correct. We need to accept it from the user. Ampersand N, because N is just a variable. We are not making use this of variable N for this dynamic memory, or we have not initialized it to the dynamic memory. So whatever user enters, the value of N here, if it is 5, those many blocks will be allocated. Then
Semicolon.
yes, thank you.
Ma'am, semicolon near scanf.
Yes, semicolon. So let's move. We have already initialized the pointer variable. Now thing is, we need 5 elements. Okay, 5 times, I mean all these 5 blocks here, all the 5 blocks have to be filled up with whatever the input is there from the user. So for that, we will require a loop. Otherwise, we will have to, manually 5 times we will have to accept it. Enter the first element, enter the second element. So instead of that, we will go for a loop. Okay, let me have another variable here for the iteration. Let me take the variable to be I. So starting from the 0th index, we will move up to whatever value the value that the n enters. Like if it is 5, 5. If it is 10, fine. So we will say I less than n. And we will increment the loop. So I need to accept it. So I will make use of the scanf statement here. Now, what is going, in which particular variable I need to accept it? Have a look here.
PTR.
Correct. In the pointer variable. So the pointer here is P. It is not PTR, it is P. But if I say P, okay, only at this particular location the value will be incremented. Whereas it has to go on continuously to these locations also. Right? If I say here P, this is equivalent to saying P plus 0. P plus 0 will be P. So if I write this, only here it will get inserted. How about the other 4? So what do I have to do here?
P plus I into 2.
P plus I into 2.
Bracket into I, before I we can put bracket.
Before I need to put what? Bracket.
Bracket.
Okay, you mean like this?
Ma'am, no, before I.
Here.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am, he want to multiply 2 with I.
See, okay, I'll tell you. I get what you're telling me. See, I do not need to multiply into 2. Why? See here, the base address that we took there is 2000, value of P. Okay. Plus, now, what is the value of I? Currently, first iteration 0. Fine. This is P plus 0 at the address 2000. Second iteration, the value of I will go to the Excel sheet here. So here the value was 2000 plus the value of I was 0. I'll write the iterations here. I is equal to 0. Next iteration, you have I is equal to 1. Okay. But when I say here 2000, let me replace the value of I to be equal to 1. Explicitly, this is how it is. Implicitly, what happens? The value that we are not able to see is 2 is already multiplied. The value here 2 is already multiplied. We do not have to specify the into 2 that you told me, into 2, that need not be specified explicitly. For the arrays also, we have not specified into 2 explicitly. We will just write P plus I. The value into 2 automatically will be taken. That is the meaning of P plus I. P plus I means the value of I here is going to be 2 bytes. So every time the value of I is incremented. So here also if I becomes equal to 2, it is going to be what? 2000, the base address, plus 2, that is the value of I, into bracket 2 bytes will be automatically taken by your compiler. At the time of execution, automatically it will be taken by the machine, 2 bytes. You need not explicitly specify it. If you do P plus I into 2, no, that will turn out to be an expression. Then based on the precedence of the operator, first the multiplication, then the addition, and then the output will be given. So the values that we want to insert will be inserted at the wrong addresses. We will just have to specify here P plus I into 2 is automatically understood by a machine. You need not specify there explicitly into 2. Did you follow this? Why only P plus I?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Let us we have accepted now, let us just print those elements. All those 5 elements that we have taken. So I will require again a for loop here, since we are having 5 elements or n number of elements. Fine. So I0 less than n. Now the only thing that we need to change here is, let me also print it on the next line, this part. Now I need the contents here. Okay. So can you tell me what will be the change? If I need to access the value, no?
We have to add asterisk symbols.
Correct. I need to
Asterisk symbol,
access.
ma'am.
Correct. The content that is present at this location. Suppose I have entered, say, 5 elements. Okay. So if I need the content here, if I have a look at this, if I say star of P, you know now, you will tell me it is 10. So here, I need to specify the asterisk here before the pointer. Now you have a look here, star P plus I, okay. We'll see the output now. Have a look at the output first. I will enter 5 elements. The elements are not getting printed. Why you think why the elements are not getting printed?
Bracket.
Ma'am, we are using
Ma'am, we
use
use-
printf.
Asterisk n for only P.
Correct. One error is this, a mistake on my part here. Okay, let us do the same thing. I will not change this statement now. Just observe the output here. We'll run it again. Have a look at the output that we are getting. We entered 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. But we are getting 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, we'll come back here to the program. Star of P. You tell me the value of star of P. Star P is 10. Fine.
10, ma'am.
Correct. Plus I have said, okay. How it works is plus I. What is the first iteration value of I? 0. So 0. 10 plus 0 is going to be equal to 10. For the second iteration, what happens now? Again, star P. Star P is 10. Again, plus. What is the value of I? For the second iteration, the value is incremented 1. You are getting as 11. Correct. No, your output is coming correct according to the expression that you have written here. So, for this, you need to remember the operator's precedence, the associativity. Even for the arrays, I had mentioned this. Once you give this, what happens is, asterisk has the priority here. First, the content is fetched, and plus I, the value is getting added, and the values are getting displayed. Now, the moment I change this expression, what I will do is, I will put a bracket here. Do you remember the precedence which has a higher priority among star, brackets and plus symbol? First priority is given to the brackets. Correct. Now let us see the output. Let me just clear this particular terminal. Okay, we have an error. Missed out a semicolon. This is comments. Let me have the same set of elements now. Now observe the output here. Correct? Whatever we entered, those are getting printed. So what you should remember is these precedence. Okay. Now how the statement is working, let me write here in the comments. First your bracket will be resolved. So P, what is the address? P is 2000, correct? P plus I, the value of I here is 0. So basically the into 2 bytes will be 0 again. So the content at P will be displayed, that is 10. For the second iteration again, your base address is again 2000. 2000 plus I into 2 bytes, 1 into 2 bytes will be 2000 plus 2. So the content at that 2002 address, that is 20. And so on, all the values are getting printed. If you remove the brackets, what is going to happen? It will go on incrementing it. The values are incremented there, not the addresses. We want to increment the address and then fetch the value. If you remove the brackets, the values are getting incremented, not the addresses. Did you follow the difference?
Yes, ma'am.
Also, did
Yes,
you follow
ma'am.
the program?
Yes, ma'am.
The same concept is there for arrays also, okay? There also I have told this. Do not forget this. In a hurry, you may tend to forget, then the values that are printed will be wrong. So this is your calloc function. Once another program I want to do, just a small change here. That is your journal program. Okay, let me just remove these comments. Okay, let me just show you first the, just give me a minute. I'll show you what is the code here, what we need to perform. We'll have a look at the syllabus copy. practical set of programs, okay, from your syllabus copy. So we are going to do this one, second one. C program to read one-dimensional array and print sum of all elements along with the inputted array elements using memory allocation. So you can do it using malloc also. You can do it using calloc also. We will try to do it using calloc because calloc is basically for continuous memory allocations. That will be, we have already done it now, right? The same program here. This works just like the array. Continuous blocks of memory are allocated. The only change is they have told us to perform the addition, calculate the sum of the inputs that we have given. So what change we need to do? Did you read the program statement? Read it once again. Write a C program to read one-dimensional array. So basically it is just the way that we have done now. Continuous blocks of memory are allocated. We have done that much. And print sum of all elements. So we need to calculate the sum of all the 5 blocks, right? The elements that are entered in those 5 blocks, we need to calculate their sum and we need to print it. Then along with the inputted array elements using dynamic memory allocation. So they are also asking us to display those elements that we have entered, that we have already printed now. We have printed that. So we have accepted here elements. We are printing the elements here. The only change that we need to do is we need to calculate the sum, correct? So we'll do the changes in this program itself. I will require a variable to calculate the sum. Let me write the variable name as sum and initialize it to 0. Fine. The same thing, you ask the user how many blocks he wants to enter, store it using dynamic memory allocation, then accept it and store it in this particular location that is initialized or pointed by your pointer variable. Once you have stored the elements, okay, the next thing is you are displaying it. Only one change that we need to do here, that is we need to calculate the sum of the elements. So what is going to be the change here? We just have to add sum is equal to sum plus, so what do I need to add now? Plus what will be the variable name? You would usually write sum is equal to sum plus any variable that you have there and so on, right? So here, what is going to be the variable that we need to add? First of all, you need to access the content.
Star bracket P plus.
Star
Correct.
P plus I.
Star bracket P plus I. If you say P plus I, maybe you're saying it correctly, but do not forget the brackets. If I do again star, if I will do this, the sum is going to be different. Okay, it works the same way like this, the way we saw now, 10, 11, 12, 13, that is how it will work. So I need to give brackets. Give a semicolon. Since we have 2 statements here in the for loop, we'll also give brackets. Okay, so we have, according to a problem statement, we have accepted the elements from the user here. We are printing those elements and we are also calculating the sum of those elements. Let us see if this program works. Let me this time give some other elements. Another change, the elements are getting printed. So which statement are we missing now?
Printf statement.
Printf.
Printf statement.
Correct. We have not printed the sum. So we will say let the sum be. Calculate the sum of those integers that I gave. Calculate the sum of these integers.
30.
30. Okay, let's check. Here is the output. So sum is equal to 30. Let us go back again. As you said, just let us do this change and see so that you people are able to recall again. Let me go back to the terminal. I have removed the brackets, okay, here. Now we observe the sum once the brackets are removed. How the operator works, how the precedence works. So you are getting the sum to be equal to 20, which is wrong because the value of the incremented operator here, that is getting appended instead of the contents. So for that, we need to specify your brackets. So this is your second journal program. Accept elements from the user and store it using dynamic memory, and then display those elements which are entered and also calculate their sum. So since calloc works as continuous memory blocks, it is equivalent to that of an array where the memory allocated will be continuously just like that of an array. So we have made use of the calloc. Have you all followed this?
Yes, ma'am.